Am I there? Am I with you? I love the idea of being in someone else's home. You might be so far away, or you might just be around the corner. But I do love the idea that we can actually, do this, not just today, of course, but with family, with friends. I love the idea of being able to see my grandson every day and speak to him every day and laugh with him every day. Um, I love the idea of this. And of course, there are so many people who've never known it to be any different. But I remember the olden days when we used to have to use the phone, and it was just a regular phone, and it would crackle and cost a fortune if you wanted to call overseas. But anyway, here we are, and this is Thursday morning, and oh, wait a minute, the spirit world sees all. And standing to my right side is my spirit guide, Grey Eagle. And we have Chris manning the whatever she mans there, facilitates all of your questions. So don't forget to write in the chat room, because I'm going to tell you that the minute you stop writing questions in the chat room is the minute I say, okay, see ya, because I've got things to do. I've got liver pate to make today. Yummy, yummy. Anyway, so here we are, and let me just give you a rundown of what is coming up. We'll probably remind you again halfway through, but we do have tomorrow evening. I don't know how it happened that fast, but tomorrow evening I will be at the give me a minute here, at the community center in Venice, Florida, and hopefully meeting new people, giving messages from the spirit world. I should be there tomorrow night and Friday, whatever that date is, and I should be there on Saturday morning as well. And so lucky you if you're coming, lucky me if you're coming, because we always like to have fun. And I know people think I'm very weird, she talks to dead people. It's so upsetting for everybody, very emotional when you get a message from the spirit world. And she talks about having fun, but we have fun, we laugh, we smile. Our loved ones in the spirit world, believe it or not, do retain their sense of humor and do love to have fun, especially with me, because they often, I think that I'm the one in charge, and then all of a sudden, before I know it, they're in charge, and I think I'm going to go one way with something, and they say, no, 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 we're going to do it this way, Rosemary. Yeah, we're going to talk about this and this. The funny thing also is, when I do consultations, I'll always say to people, have, 10, roughly 10 questions. If you're, let's say if it was your mother you wanted to talk to, if your mother or your father, whoever it is in the spirit world you want to talk to, if it's your husband, I'm thinking of Don when I'm saying that, and if she's around, she'll know who I mean when I say Don. And we, so if they're in the room with you, which of course they are, but if they're in the room with you and you could ask them, whatever questions you want, write them down and give them to me, and we'll see what we can do. So people usually give me a list of questions, and they either save the most important question till the last, or they give me the most important question first. So you would think that once their family in the spirit world come through to talk to me, you would think that we'd go down the list, question 1, question 2, question, and so on, until we get to question 10, and some people even go for 12 or 14 or something. Anyway, so you'd think we'd go that way, but then no, because often someone will come through from the spirit world and they'll say, and I'll be looking at question 1, and they'll say, no, we're going to skip that one for a minute. I want to answer they meaning the people who are having the consult, they may think that that's the most important question, but this is the most important question. And so basically they end up taking control of the whole thing, and it's out of my hands, and that works for me. It's fine by me. So we've had a few consults this week, and it's been quite eye-opening, as it always is. We know that the spirit world watches us and watches over us. Those of us who know, we know, don't we? We know that they are around us, and so I've been doing a lot of that this week, and it seems like the week for it, because hopefully we'll be doing that tomorrow night and Saturday morning as well. And on Saturday morning, I thought, I'm not sure yet, because again, I'm not the one in charge. I think I'm going to do one thing, and I go to these events. I've got this in my head. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And then just as I start to do what I think I'm going to do, Greg says, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. So our events can be, and often are, very, very spontaneous, but there are some great exercises that I think I do with my students. So I might be doing on Saturday morning, I might be doing the 3 chairs, which unless you're in the hot seat, you're going to love it. And even if you're on the hot seat, you're going to love it, because that's all I'm saying. But we're going to have some fun. And I am sure also on Saturday morning, I'm sure the spirit will be around, and hopefully giving us some more messages. So that's my thing for Friday. Also, of course, coming up, and if you do want to participate in this one particular thing that we do, you need to move it, because we don't like large audiences for this, but this is when Grey Eagle speaks. And last year we were stunned. We were all stunned. I'm always stunned. I'm always amazed, because basically what happens is, I can't say that I go into a trance state, but I can tell you that it's a kind of a light trance state where, you can ask questions of Grey Eagle, not of me, of Grey Eagle, and he, using my voice, using my vocal cords, using whatever, he will speak and he will answer your questions. But last year, and I think also, if I remember, the year before, we only do this once a year, and it's a very special event. But last year, and I think the year before, last year, before I was just about to start doing this, it was about, I think we begin at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, and it was something like 9:30. And I my grandson called me, and he said, I just want to wish you luck, Mosey, for the event. And he asked me, what exactly is going to happen, Soin? And I told him, just as I've told you, Grey Eagle's going to be there, and he's going to be answering questions, and he's so wise. He knows so much more than I do. And he looked at me, because we were doing the FaceTime thing always, and he looked at me and he said, so Mosey, will Jesus be there? And it completely took me by surprise, because I hadn't thought about it. And I said, well, I don't know, darling. I'm not sure. He might be too busy to be with us. He's got lots of other things to do. He's got lots of places to be, and so on. And he said, I hope he comes, Mosey. I really hope he does. And I never thought any more about it until probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes into it. Well, and there he was. And so we had Grey Eagle answering questions, and we also had Jesus answering questions. And it was very difficult for me because, you know, it's very emotional for me, very, very emotional to see these unbelievable, you know, I don't want to call them entities, people, I'm going to call them, but they are spiritual entities, so wise and so incredible and so, I mean, how do we get so lucky as to have Jesus Christ standing in my living room answering your questions? I mean, come on, how do we get to be so lucky? But I have known Jesus Christ since I was probably about 2. When my mother first started pushing us off to Sunday school in the afternoon so she could watch her Sunday afternoon movie. And I was very involved with my church. And in fact, I was asked to stand in the pulpit. I can't say preach, but to talk about my beliefs and my faith in Jesus Christ. And then I was asked by many of the other churches in our area if I would go and do the same for them. So I did quite a lot of that. And then when I was, the elders of my church were my family. They were wonderful. And they would say to every now and again, they'd say to me, Rosemary, thought about being baptized? No, I'm good. Rosemary, thought about being baptized? They probably started asking me around the time when I was either 10 or 11 or something. And I certainly wasn't ready. I couldn't quite tell you why I wasn't ready, but I just felt that you don't do this lightly, and it's something you need to be absolutely sure of. In my opinion, it's something that if you're baptized, it means you're giving yourself over to this faith, this belief that you have, this incredible journey of, whatever it is, you can call it, people say, so you're a Christian. Well, if being a Christian means, do I believe in Jesus Christ? Yes, I am. But there are so many other faiths and so many other beliefs around the world that that are amazing. I could easily at one point have become a Buddhist if I hadn't known Jesus. And I've known Jesus. He's been my friend. I talked to him even, I can remember walking the streets, just having conversations with him. Because I didn't want to go home, or just staying out, and no matter how cold it was, and he and I would walk the streets and we'd have conversations, and all sorts of things like that. So it shouldn't, in some ways, it shouldn't surprise me when he appears there, but at the same time, it's an amazing honor to have him here and answering your questions. And I remember we had a preacher come from Africa. I was 15 years old, and this guy, I loved him. He sort of came and stood and talked to us about his experiences and so on. And I just decided, if I'm going to be baptized, I want to be baptized by him. And so when I was 15 years old, in our church, we had an enormous, it was like a small bath, and you walked into it. It was sort of, the floorboards covered it, obviously, but you walked down the steps into it, and then, you were literally immersed. I can remember the feeling of coming back up out of the water. Everyone in the church was singing, and it was one of the most, let me see, probably one of the most holy moments, the most moving and one of the most holy moments I think I've ever experienced. It was amazing. So anyway, so on the, whatever date it is, I do believe, is it on the 14th of December, Chris? I'm not sure.
It's on the 13th of December,
I'm
Rosemary.
sorry, it's on the 13th of December. It will be Saturday morning. I can't guarantee that we're going to have Jesus Christ in the room with us. I can guarantee that we'll have Grey Eagle here, and boy, is he worth listening to. And he has such amazing wisdom. And I feel so lucky that I have, on the one hand, I have Grey Eagle who stands to my right side, and I have Jesus Christ who usually stands to my left, or in front of me, or behind me, or around me, I'm being told. Anyway, so that's something to look forward to, but we don't like to have huge crowds because it's a very special, very personal 3 hours. So we start at 10 and we finish at 1 o'clock, I think. If you do want to be a part of that, by all means, email us, rosemary@rosemaryalte.com, and just write in the subject line what it is you want, and I'm sure Chris will get to you as soon as she can. So that's, that's a reminder for that. I know everybody's rushing and racing. There's Thanksgiving and there's Christmas, and it's easy to forget these things. So we'll just keep reminding you up until the date. And if you can come, that's great. And if you can't come, well, um, I'm not sure, because we've been asked many times if people can have the recordings. So we have to think about that. Anyway, Chris, I better just say, I've been rambling now for probably 20 minutes. Oh, such a long time. It's about time, don't you think, that I asked, is there anybody there? Because I could have been talking to myself all this time.
Oh, and it's all great information you shared too. Interestingly enough, Mark was one of the first ones to respond about your Gray Eagle event. He said, I was gobsmacked the day I was present watching you as we had a visit from Jesus. Your face changed drastically, emotionally moved, and I felt your love for what you saw. I only hope he saw us who were with you that day.
Absolutely. Yeah. The spirit world sees all, Mark, but thank you for saying that. I hope you're going to join us this year. I'm surprised to hear you say gobsmacked, because, for those of you who don't know, it's a very British saying. Um, it's very slang. It's not particularly nice, although if you separate it down, it's not particularly nice. But when when you sort of brought up in the you know, in a working class environment, which I was, it was very common to hear people tell other people, shut your gob. A gob is a mouth. It's a very slang word. And if you are gobsmacked, it means that your mouth is open and you are stunned and amazed by what you're hearing. But it's a very British. I love the fact that you use that expression. Um, Mark, because most people, if I said that to them, I'm really gobsmacked, they'd wonder what on earth I was talking about. But it's a very common British expression, and wonderful to hear from you today. Chris.
In the beginning, you had lots of hellos from Dean, from Annika, Gary, Barb, Rhonda, Judith. Oh, goodness gracious. Muriel. There's a whole bunch of people
Well,
on,
let me just
Rosemary.
say hello to all of you. Hello back to all of you. And okay, so I think I have talked enough. And I think it's time for, if anybody wants to ask a question, or if anybody wants to tell us something exciting or interesting. Chris told me she had something very, very special that happened to her this morning in her apartment. And I was so busy talking about myself that we didn't get around to it, did we, Chris? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was special, but I definitely had something happen to them in the apartment. Anyway, Dean is on and he's saying, today is my big brother's birthday, and I'm wondering if he has any message for me.
I'm hearing from Grey Eagle, this is not an unexpected question apparently, and I'm hearing Grey Eagle say, so much love to you. I don't know what that is, and something about your brother's been watching you cooks. I don't know even what they are. They might be like little pies or pastries. There could even be small pizzas. I don't know what you've been baking here, Dean, but he says he's been watching you make something. I'm assuming it's baking, but anyway, just to let you know that he's with you, that he's around you. Yes, keep going, Chris.
Muriel says, "Dearest Rosemary, I'm currently having a burnout. Can Gray Eagle tell me if I'll ever be able to get back to work? I'm really worried."
Well, the first thing I think we need to do is to send you some healing, my darling. And, you know, we need to, or maybe you know why, but thinking about why, you know, these burnouts happen to us, and they happen to all of us from time to time. We become exhausted by various things, emotional stuff or health issues or whatever it is. So we're going to be sending you some healing, but right. So yeah. Right. Sorry. Give me a second here. Right. So, all right. Right. Okay. So apparently, from what I'm being told, because you are a very sensitive person, you have allowed other people to make you feel less than. And you have to come to terms with the fact that you are not less. Grey Eagle tells me to tell you, you are not less, you are more than you can ever possibly know. When you get that little fact into your head, that's when you'll start to feel better. That's when you'll start to, you know, find more confidence. But the problem is that we do allow other people to affect us. We do allow other people's situations to affect us. And I always say to people, and Muriel, darling, I'm saying this to you now, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. And you are, for some reason or another, I don't know what is going on or has been going on in your life, but you are allowing other people to take your power away from you. And you got to snatch it back. You got to take it back. You've got to understand. Listen, if Grey Eagle, if my wonderful spirit guide, Grey Eagle, can find the time to say to you, this is what's happening, but you are worth so much more than you think, that's a big thing. So I want you to bury that in your head. Get that straight in your head. Once you realize that you do have people who care about you, and we do, once you realize that people do love you, and we do, then maybe you'll start loving yourself a little bit more again. And maybe you'll start giving yourself little treats again. And maybe you'll start to build up your self-worth and your self-confidence again. We will send you healing, hoping that this healing will help you to find the energy and to find the courage to be you. Never mind other people's opinions. They don't count. They don't. The most important person's opinion is that person's opinion of themselves. And you need to work on that because you are lovely. Chris. Did I lose you?
Might help if I took myself off of mute.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah.
Mark was commenting on how much he loves liver pate.
Oh.
And that brought him to some other questions about food and smells.
Oh,
So
here we go.
every time I make popcorn in my home, I always ask mom and dad if they can smell my popcorn or even
Oh,
taste it. Dad made popcorn every evening, and oftentimes I'd just pop in to visit and they'd sit me down and we'd have popcorn. And I miss them both so much. So, do they enjoy the smells of popcorn in my home? I'd also love to hear from them.
I'm fairly certain that they do, because when I make pate, I'm making liver pate. A lot of people don't like it, but I love it. And I have my own recipe, which I've developed over the years. I make it just exactly the way.
Hold on, we're going to get Rosemary back here.
It's often that day. It is spooky, spooky
I
stuff.
agree.
So when I'm making, especially when I'm making liver pate, and I like to put cream in mine, and I like it nice and smooth, and then I like to eat it on really, really delicious, crusty homemade bread. Um, and how can a meal be better than that? Anyway, so when I make it, and in fact, often when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking and I'm creating or whatever it is I'm doing, I have my father who comes, you know, and of course Grey Eagle, and I will often rely on them, especially if I'm making something that I don't particularly like, but someone else requested it, so I'm making it for them. Um, Whenever I'm doing that and I don't really want to taste, I rely I rely on my dad. I rely on Grey Eagle, and don't, have we got enough salt in there? Did a little bit more pepper? What do you think? And so they not only do they smell, and yes, I'm sure through smell we can taste all kinds of good stuff, but they also participate in the making of it and in the creating of it. I wonder why that is, why my food tastes so good. I have to think about that one. Anyway, so yes, I'm sure that they totally are watching you and participating and smelling and enjoying, especially if you're enjoying. You know, the best thing about popcorn is all the butter that you put all over it. I like to put butter in the middle and then butter on the top, and then I shake the bag, and then we've got lots and lots of butter, and and then I love it when my fingers get so really, really greasy and salty and buttery. And then I know this is you're going to be disgusted with me, but there's nothing nicer than sort of licking your, what is it, did I tell you, I told you, I think my little spooky ghost story when we did our what was it, Halloween. So here I go again. Three little ghostesses eating buttered toastesses, licking their fistuses up to their wristuses. Oh, what beastuses to have such feastuses. Did you like that? Three little ghostesses eating buttered toastesses, licking their fistuses up to their wristuses. Oh, what beastuses to have such feastuses. My grandson loves it when I do these tongue twisters. If anybody's got a good tongue twister out there, let me know. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but I don't even know what I'm doing this morning. But Moses supposes erroneously, because nobody's toes are posies of roses as Moses supposes his toes is to be. That's it, I'm done. No more tongue twisters. Keep going with questions, Chris.
Annika was remarking about her experiences with connecting to the spirit world with you have given her such joy and comfort.
Oh, so is she talking about a consultation with me, or what is she?
Well, I know she was up at that Connecticut event that you did.
Oh, that's right. Of course, that's right. Yes. Well, I have to say that it's so much fun when we do these events, because, it's also extremely emotional and very thought provoking, and it's wonderful to hear from the spirit world. It because I never know what's going to happen. I'm never the one to dictate what's going to happen. I never know who in the audience is going to get a message, and it's sort of so it's totally, I just literally, these are the moments when I have to totally, live my faith, not just have faith, but live my faith. And live my faith means, I'm going to be sitting there and everybody's going to be looking expectantly, and I'm going to do what I do, which is have faith that the spirit world will come forward and give a few messages. Chris.
Judith is asking, do our loved ones who have passed draw nearer during the holidays? I feel so close to my family and wonder if they know how I feel. I do tell them that I love them and miss them.
I think that our loved ones are there with us at many different times. When we're sad, when we're happy, they share our joys. They share our sadnesses. But I think that those are the times when we here on this earth plane, those are the times when we think more of them. We go down memory lane. We think about the times that we shared, and we think about all of those family times. And so naturally, as we're thinking those thoughts and as we're having those remembrances, our families in the spirit world draw close because they're also enjoying those remembrances too. So I think it's more about the fact that we, it's not that we forget them through the year, but I think it's more that, during those special times, I mean, in England, we don't have Thanksgiving, so I don't particularly celebrate Thanksgiving, but I know a lot of people in this country do. I always celebrate Christmas. It's a very special time for me. But I think that when we, and things like birthdays and anniversaries, I know that our loved ones are right there and with us, because we're right there with them too. So there's this, it's all about, what is it all about? It's all about, energy. It's all about connection. It's all about, sort of having the right levels of vibration. So when we're thinking about our loved ones in the spirit world, our whole body is vibrating in a certain way. And of course, they also are able to connect with us because we're on the same vibrational level, which is when we're on the same vibrational level and we're each thinking about the other, that is when we feel them with us the most. That doesn't mean that they're not there at other times. That's when we feel them the most. Okay, Chris.
Leslie is asking, does Gray Eagle have any living descendants here in Arizona? And if so, are any of them also shaman?
The answer, that's a quick, I love the question, but it's a quick answer, and the answer is no, no. I was going to say not as far as I know, but the answer is no. Because otherwise I'd be sitting with them. I wouldn't leave them alone. I'd be one of those people who, what is it called? Trolls around after other people. What is it called when you
groupie?
Pardon?
Groupie?
Not a groupie so much as sort of dogging their footsteps. I would have absolutely loved to have been, and still would love to be, a part of his group. But I have. There's this lovely guy in Arizona, his name's Len or Lenny, who would take us around and about, and his wife was, I forget now, she was part Apache, she was part something else, and she would come with us often. And we'd sort of, basically, we'd go hiking up Superstition Mountain, which is in Phoenix, just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, which is where the Apache lived. They hid there. They were nomads mostly, so they lived in lots of different places. But towards the end, when the soldiers were coming, the women and children particularly uh, would hide, and the old ones too. Gregor is reminding me, would hide in the Superstition Mountains, and where the soldiers could never find them. But remember, the Apache were a warrior race, and they were the last to be conquered, which I think, is something to be very proud of. I know that when I first came to America, people would say to me, "Well, you can talk about Grey Eagle, Rosemary, but you can't say that he's Apache." And I said, "Why can't I say it's Apache?" Yes, because the Apache were the fiercest. They were they were the ones who fought the hardest. They were you can't, no, no. They were known for their cruelty. They were known for all sorts. They were warriors. And I'm thinking to myself, and what better when you're protecting your rights, when you're protecting your land, when you're protecting your way of life, what better than to be a warrior? And so, against my American friends' better judgment, I have never hidden the fact that Grey Eagle is Apache, and I'm proud to be a part of that in some small way, because I too am a warrior. My father was a soldier all of his life. He was a warrior. We come from a warrior, but my family, me particularly, I come from a warrior race. We have the Scots and the Welsh, and boy, are we tough when we need to be. So, I think that we all have a warrior in us, Muriel. We all have a warrior in us. We just have to find that warrior and dare to fight for what it is that we believe. Chris.
Rhonda says, I will miss you this weekend. Bill just started radiation, so he can't make it, but did sign up for Grey Eagle Speaks. Last year, having our special guest was out of this world, to say the least.
I know. Wasn't it wonderful? It was really wonderful. And I'm sorry. We will miss you this week. But anyway, I'm sure we'll be sending healing, but to both of you, because the carer needs as much healing as the the patient. So we'll be sending you both healing. Let me know how it goes. Chris.
Wookie Bear says, Good morning, Rosemary and Grey Eagle. A few weeks ago, I had a spirit visitor, which I saw on video at the time I was asleep. Both
Oh,
times it happened, which was twice in a 5-day period.
wow.
Whoever it was stayed for a very long time both times. I was wondering if you could tell me who it was, and was it just a visit or was there a message?
Oh, there's never just a visit. The message is we're here, we're with you, we're close by you, we're watching over you. Even if I could tell you, and truthfully, if I was to ask Grey Eagle if he was so inclined, he would tell you it's for you to find this out yourself. And you know that, don't you? Don't you hate that? I hate when Grey Eagles, I ask Grey Eagle a question. He'll say, you figure out the answer. And I'm thinking, fiddlesticks. No, I don't want to just tell me. But no, some things we have to find out for ourselves, because through the finding out process, through the learning process of discovering different things, is how we learn and how we grow. So you're on your own with that. But I have a suspicion that if you think about it carefully, you'll know. Chris.
Wayne says, I am struggling about following the Catholic ways I grew up in or my ancestors' culture. I feel like I'm stuck in between two worlds. I'm
Oh,
almost fearful to take the wrong turn.
Wayne, you cannot take the wrong turn. You cannot. Okay, you follow your heart. You know, uh, I mentioned earlier, I believe in Jesus Christ, and not that my family ever went, my parents never went to church with us, and my sisters would go to one church and I would always go to another. Um, and, you know, there are things that we're told, there are things that we're taught by the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church or whatever church it is you go to. There are things that we're taught. There are things that the priests believe. Remember, okay, just remember this: the Bible was written by men. There's a great story about an old lady who went into a bookstore and she said to the young man behind the counter, she said, well, I'd like the Bible. And so he brought out, there are so many variations of the Bible, you would be amazed at how many variations there are. And so we've got this one, or we've got this one, and so on and so forth. And she started to get a little upset and she started to get angry. And eventually she pounded her fist on the countertop and she said to him, "Young man, I want the Bible that God wrote." Well, of course, there is no such thing. Men wrote the Bible, and over the years, other men, and it was men initially. I don't think women had too much of a hand in the Bible. We might have had a different version altogether. But we don't. Men, we're fallible. We're all fallible. So if something is right for you, if it feels right in your heart, follow it. You're not betraying one religion for another. You're not betraying one way of life, as opposed to the other. It's about following your heart and trusting that God or your faith or whatever that is, that you rely on will show you the way. And it shouldn't be choosing. It isn't either or. There are some wonderful things about every religion, pretty much every religion in this world, and there are some not so wonderful things with every religion in this world. There are some things that are right and there are some things that are not right. And please don't worry, you don't have to take sides. Just be you and follow your heart. You can still, if you want to, go to your Catholic church and take mass and do all of those things, and there is no great power above you who is going to condemn you. You might find a priest who might condemn you. That's because he's narrow-minded. And remember, we are human beings, and priests, some of you might find priests, vicars, ministers, they are simply men. And now women, but they are simply people who have their own ideas about things. And and if you want to follow them, that's fine. And if you don't want to follow them, or what I try to do is take a little bit of everything that I learn and sort of use the bits that I like, and I discard the bits that I don't. And I don't feel for 1 second guilty or as if I'm choosing one religious belief over another, because I just believe that God is all around us. And, as long as I follow that path and I do the right thing that feels right for me, we know what's right for us and we know what's not right for us. So I don't like the idea that you're torn in two by this, because you shouldn't be. You should be able to put the two together, take the best of both worlds and put them together and make them work for you. Let me know how you get on, would you? Chris.
Barb says Great Eagle Speaks is absolutely amazing. I would never miss seeing that show. I highly recommend it for all, and I can't wait to be with all of you again.
Oh, listen, we're getting so many comments like this. It's exciting. But yes, it is something. It is very different than most people have seen. As I say, we only do it once a year, and we have not done it. We didn't do it for years and years because Gregor felt that people weren't quite ready for it. But now we do feel that we're ready for it, and he's willing to. He's amazing, uh, answering questions, giving advice, sort of, but in a way that is so good and so kind and so gentle. And the gentleness, I think, of the whole event, the gentleness that comes across, as it did last year, as it does all the time when Gregor is speaking, when he's giving messages, the gentleness that comes across is just astounding and so inspiring. And we love it. We absolutely love it. Last year, we had Mary Lou sitting in with us. She didn't think at first she was going to be able to make it, but then she managed to make it. And I think, when we were finished, I was not paying attention to her. I was busy. I was doing my own thing. Um, and it was so funny because sort of when we closed the show, and of course it takes me a little while to sort of come back and come down and be me again, if you like. I looked at her face and she was just weeping all over the floor. She was just crying her eyes out. She was just very silently just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. She was so moved by the whole thing. And I think that she was really thrilled that she was able to be here and to participate. So thank you, all of you who have, who have experienced it before, and thank you for your comments. Chris.
Well, Barb had continued saying, "How did you get the name Mosey?"
Oh, wow. Years, and this is a secret, years and years and years ago, it was when I was very sick and couldn't work and, was sort of, couldn't do very much at all. And I had a friend of mine um, who lived about, sort of 3 houses up the street. And so we used to actually, we used to, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but years and years and years ago, if it was first in America and then it came to England, Peyton Place, and it would be on at about 2 p.m. So I'd go up to her house and we'd sit and watch Peyton Place. And she had a little boy, Stephen, and he could never say Rosemary. He just couldn't say it. And he would try and try to say it, but he always ended up saying Mosey. And then 1 or 2 of the other kids in the neighborhood, as we got older and as Stephen got older, they would call me Mosey too. So it sort of stuck a little bit that I was Mosey. And then, of course, years later, Samantha was carrying Reese, and she said to me even before he was born, she said to me, "Mum, what do you want to be known as? You want to be known as Nana or Granny or?" And no, none of those things worked for me. And then I remembered how I used to love when Stephen called me Mosey, and I said to Samantha, "You know what? I'll be Mosey. I'll just be Mosey." And I'm only Mosey to Reese. There are 1 or 2 of Samantha's friends who walk through the door from time to time, say, "Hey, Mosey, how are you?" And I think, I'm not your Mosey. I'm only Reese's Mosey. But anyway, I am Mosey. So, and so there you have it. Chris.
Maggie's on saying, "I'm listening in as I'm waiting for a procedure to see if I have a heart. Crossing fingers that they find one."
I think they might. You have a wonderful heart. Are you kidding? Anyway, all right, we're sending you healing, my darling. Chris.
Caroline saying, "Good morning to you."
Morning, Caroline.
Wayne had continued that last line that you were talking about and said, also, when I was looking at his cross and his face turned scary and I got very scared.
Oh, well, don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's easy to be scared because when we don't know it's things when we don't understand things is when, we get nervous about things. But actually, I just, well, okay, here you go. I'll give you this. Grey Eagle tells me that there is such a beautiful light around you and that you are protected and that you're only, only, but you're only scared because it's the unknown. But it will become knowable and you will be less and less afraid. So just know that you have your angels around you. Grey Eagle says you have such a light around you and you're a beautiful person. Trust in you. Okay, Chris.
Dean responded to your earlier message about his brother and the birthday. He's laughing and he says, my brother was watching me make my pot pies.
Oh, that's what they were. They were like these little things, these little round things. They looked to me. I couldn't figure out what they were. Pot pies. How nice. What was in them, Dean? And how nice that he's able to talk about this and you knew exactly what he meant. The spirit world, you see, sees all.
He said, thanks for the message and I miss him dearly.
Well, no need to, because he's obviously standing in your kitchen helping you with those things. I want to know what's in your pot pies. Keep going, Chris.
Judith says your quote ramblings are mesmerizing and certainly fascinating, so keep rambling.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I do find myself going on and I think I really need to stop talking. But hey, if you're happy for me to keep talking, I'm happy to keep talking. Chris.
Sophie wants to know if you're hearing anything from her son Mikey, who passed on November 6th, 1996. Or maybe it's November 26th. She changed it, 1996.
Hold on, just a minute. I don't know. I don't know if this is. Yeah, but yes. I don't know much. We need far more time than we have here. And once I start giving messages, if I'm not careful, we won't have we won't have time for questions. But I'm sort of hearing really through Grey Eagle, but I am seeing someone talking about the crash or a crash. I don't know what I'm seeing or what I'm connecting with particularly, but that's kind of the answer to your question. That's as much as I can do for now. It sounds to me that you really could do with a consultation. That's what you need. Chris.
Ornella says, Rosemary, I have a weird question.
Okay, Ornella, I'm used to your weird questions. Go ahead.
Let's see. When domestic dogs kill human beings without an apparent reason, what happens in their heads? Thank you so much.
Um, well, I'd love to, Ornella, it is not a weird question, but it's a question that it's a long answer and there are various reasons why this happens. Why does a human being suddenly go crazy when they've been sane all their lives? Or, it could be that an animal has been mistreated, or it could simply be something that happens in the brain, or whatever it is. Thank goodness it happens rarely. But okay, as an owner of a dog and having a grandson who has a puppy, which I got him for his birthday 3 years or 4 years ago, whenever it was. As much as we love our animals, and we do, we should also pay attention to, their moods, their needs, their wants, and so on. And we should not take it for granted that they're always ready to cuddle us when we feel that we're ready to cuddle them. And I think I see this so many times with people who just grab hold of a dog to cuddle it, and maybe the dog isn't feeling well, or maybe the dog has an issue, a health issue, or toothache, or something like that. And I remember years ago I had a wonderful Cocker Spaniel, and he was gentle and caring and loving. And I can remember one day I went to pick him up, and he growled at me, and that's his way of saying back off, and I'm not feeling very well. So we have to pay attention to our animals. Chris.
All right. Well, we're right at time. Wookie Bear is saying thank you. Wayne is saying thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
A bunch of people were right on with you about your popcorn and the butter and licking your fingers.
Good. Good. See, in my opinion, it's the only way to eat popcorn, but there we are.
And then Annika said, yes, she was at the Connecticut show, but she's also had a couple of consultations with you. So she frequently looks back at the recordings of them.
I do remember. And thank you, sweetheart. It's so nice of you to say all these nice things. In fact, so many of you have been saying today such nice things, and I do thank you for it. All right, well, it's that time. And I would love to say, let's have another hour. But did you lose me, Chris? There we are.
No, that's the second time. I mean, we do have that electromagnetic whatever that's happening to the earth right now.
Right. Anyway, my liver pate is waiting, so I'm afraid, I have to go do that. In the meantime, we shall be back, hopefully. We shall be back next Thursday with the Spirit World Sees All. We shall be, planning for Christmas. Wait a minute. Is it Thanksgiving next Thursday, Chris?
13 and 7 is 20. I think 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today.
So we will be having our Thursday morning next week, but we probably will not be doing it on Thanksgiving. I have to talk to Chris about that. But on the other hand, you never know. We just might. We'll be cracking up at some point with my friend Kay, and so we've got lots to look forward to. In the meantime, please, thank you so much, all of you. I'd like to say thank you to Grey Eagle, of course. Thank you to, sorry, I've just caught a glimpse of someone really, I can't just quite end it, just they're taking me back a bit. I just caught a glimpse of Jesus standing over in the corner there, thanking. Can't believe this. Now I'm going to end it all. I'm going to end the show. But anyway, so, not quite sure what to do with that. Please, everyone, and thanks to you, Chris, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'm completely blown away here. So thank you all. Please have a very blessed rest of the day, and have a very blessed weekend, everyone. Wow, I'm blown away. Anyway, so thank you all for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.